All right, Mr. Wright, we are back for another episode. And so today we're going to really go deep and share with the audience on the capabilities that your team has when it comes to building a list of what I believe is not talked about enough, which is the best listing lead source right now for real estate agents. No, it's not absentee owners, although those are a great opportunity too. I know, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about downsizers, okay? And so before we jump into anything, I'm going to have all of Jared's information for his team linked right underneath this video. It's going to say, I'll probably change what it says. I'm going to say, get specialty leads. There's going to be a link right to the website. You guys can go and communicate with Jared's team and go build a list of amazing leads where your competition doesn't exist. And so the other thing I want to mention, Jared, before we jump into today's show, is a study that was done in relationship to this pillar of business that we're going to talk about on today's episode. And the study showed that of the 6 million or so real estate transactions every year, downsizers, people of a retirement age moving into something smaller, more manageable in their retirement years, maybe before they go into like an assisted living, from ages like 65 to like 85, made up of about 750,000 transactions per year. And it's been that way for 50, 60, 70 years. Well, as we all know, baby boomers are now coming of age of retirement, right? And it's a very, very large demographic. And so the study's shown that that number is supposed to get to like 1.2 million transactions in 2022. And then it's probably going to double again in 2023 to 2025. And so that's why I'm so excited about this demographic. It is such a massive opportunity that really no other real estate agents are going after. So I want to talk about how we build that list with using your team. And we're going to share your screen, do like a little demo on the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for setting that up. And you know, what an amazing opportunity when you look at the sheer numbers of, of candidates and prospects for your guys' business. So it's pretty neat to figure out, how we can do this and these guys can go have some success.
Yeah. And so before you share your screen and before we get into that demo, what I want to do, Jared, is as we're going through each data set, I want you and I to briefly discuss why we're creating the list that we're creating. Okay. And so that the real estate agent watching this episode can say, I get it. I understand the value on why we want that information on the list.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We'll kind of pull back the curtain a little bit and kind of dig into the demographics that we use to find those criterias. Right. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly right. All right. Perfect. So you want to share your screen and then we'll kind of
wish me luck. I'm 46 years old. So let's see if we can get this thing done.
Hey, you're the one that didn't want your tech guy on this.
I'm just kidding, dude. I'm just kidding. So we actually set this up and talked a little bit earlier with Brandon about his zip codes in the Michigan market, right? So the far right of the screen, you can see the cities within Michigan and the zip code. So we had quite a few that we're able to pull through. The spreadsheet, it's not a super big demo, but it is a very good visualization tool for us to kind of go through, Brandon. And so we talk about absentee owners really quick. We can kind of go over the difference of the owners and properties of the different data set we have. But the value here is we're able to identify within each zip code how many properties and then how many owners. So that's a value for the real estate agent to know that about 3,000 of those, individuals in there are going to own multiple properties within your zip codes.
Yeah, I love it. Exactly right. So let's kind of go through. So what we're looking at right now is a lot of the different lead pillars that you and I talk about quite a bit. And today I want to talk about like the last pillar on the list, like that downsizers list, right?
And so look how many records are in that area, just with the downsizer. And this is without the 2-story flag, but it's still people 60 plus that have been at their residence 15 years or more. That have 95%, equity in the home. There's a couple other behind the scenes categories we use, but I mean, that's amazing information to know that you can filter down that tight and know that these individuals are going to have to move, sooner or later.
All right. So hold on. Let's break down each one of those. What you just went through, like how we got to the list. Let me clarify a couple things. So I gave you, I don't know, 6 or 7 of the top cities just in my one county, right? Now I serve the whole Detroit metro area that's made up of 4 or 5 counties. I only gave you, how many cities I gave you? I gave you Birmingham, Rochester, Waterford, Clarkson, Lake Orion. What did I give you? 6?
Troy, yep. Yeah, you gave 6 or 7. Pleasant Oak, Madison Heights, Royal Oak.
All right. So I gave you 6 cities. Just 6 cities in one county. Are you saying that there's 30,000 of these leads in just those cities?
Correct. Yeah.
All
and
right.
that's with phone number that we have a record of a phone number on as well.
That's insane.
It's
so
amazing.
I want to break down what goes into this list, Jared.
Yep.
So the realtor that watches this says, holy shit, what an opportunity.
Absolutely.
I have. So I want to go really slow here. Okay. You guys listen. So first off, instead of going to Zillow or realtor.com and spending $100 per lead, okay, why don't you just go and work with the share group and get these for 20 cents? You can go direct to the source and get them for 20 cents. Now, in my market, and not even in my market, in 6 cities in my market, there are 30,000 people that make up this downsizers list that Jared and I are talking about. So Jared, let's go through each segment that makes up the downsizers list. So number 1,
we start with age. Yeah.
Okay. 60 years or older, correct?
Correct. Yep. Age.
All
and
right.
so, age is one. The number 2 is length of residence.
All right. Hold on. I want to break them each down. So I want to talk about this. So 60 years or older. The reason why this demographic is such an opportunity is when people retire, it's very, very likely that a large portion of people that retire, part of that retirement plan is all the equity they've built into the property they lived at their entire working years is part of the retirement plan. So that big nest egg is, hey, let's sell the nest egg and use this to travel. Let's use this to pay cash for a smaller property. We don't need the large home that we raise the children in. Right. So that's number 1. That's why we're going after this demographic that's of retirement age. Number 2, what was number 2 on the list?
Length of residence. And so, how long they've been at that property, right? At that house. And we put that as a 15-year or more category. So we're able to identify that homeowner has been at that property for 15 years or more.
And the reason we do that, you guys, is because if we had Jared create a list of people that have been there for 2 years, well, that could be the home that they're planning to stay in long term. So we put 15 years as a barrier so that it's more likely that these people are looking to downsize. Again, you have to think about, instead of going after like the whole world, we're talking about on this podcast, on this show, like niching down your business so that you can go out there and get listings easier with less competition. So we've got people that are of retirement age, that are in a property that most likely they're looking to get out of. What's the third? What's the third piece?
The third thing is exactly what you talked about, and what's going to help them to be able to make the decision to downsize is equity in that household, equity in that property. We set the perimeter at 90% equity or more. I mean, less. Loan to value is the term that we use, but it's 90% value that they have not in a loan. You know what I'm saying? So 10% loan or less. Yeah. So my terminology is still fogged from the show, but But I think you get what I'm throwing down.
So really, yeah, there's 90% equity in the home minimum, right? So meaning you guys that the home is almost all paid off. So when you think about this demographic, we're going to talk about some more things in just a second. Right. They have a lot of equity. So as a realtor, you love equity sellers, right? And so not only that, but the key thing here in this conversation is, who are the people in my city the most likely to move? The more equity somebody has, the more likely they are to want to cash that in as part of their entire financial situation. Right. The exact same thing is true for the opposite. So if someone's loan to value is smaller, it means that they're just starting that journey of wealth creation in the property, because everybody knows that, or I'm sure everyone's heard of, like the home can be an asset, but it's not an asset if you owe what it's worth. It's actually a liability, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't become an asset until the discrepancy between what you owe and what it's worth. That's the equity position.
It is, yeah. Yep.
Right. So
yeah,
these all have massive equity positions.
Yeah. And you can look down the line of the list and figure out the people that are upside down on their loans too. So
that's right. And that's another show, right?
We have that too. The fourth thing or fifth thing that we do too is to eliminate the Jareds of the world is we omit children present at the household. So these individuals might be 60 plus, but they could still have a 20 something kid still living in the basement, hoping that they don't get kicked out, you know? So we even take an extra step and omit children at that property as well. So
that is crazy. So this list, that's right. I forgot about that one. So number 4 is they're empty nesters, right? So these people have been in the house for a long time. The kids are gone. So there's over 30,000 in my 6 or 7 cities that we chose. And then does this list have the 5th thing in there of the 2-story or not?
No, it does not. So yeah, the filtration, that comes from our property file because of, you know, we can kind of go into that later, but the 2 different databases we use, because it's a sheer property selection, the 2-story is a secondary segment, but we can absolutely run that number as a priority database to start with. Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Yeah. And maybe you guys watching this, maybe you don't do that in the beginning just to get a plethora, get more leads. But what Jared and I are talking about is you can even go even more specific here and say, okay, of these 30,000 records that you've found, how many of those live in a property where the master bedroom is on the 2nd floor? Well, Brandon, Jared, why does that matter? Well, come on, guys. The people that are downsizing 65 to 85, most of them want the master bedroom on the 1st floor.
Right.
So if you're calling and you're prospecting and you're marketing to people that have a master bedroom on the 2nd floor, it's just that more likely that they're going to be selling
Absolutely.
a home.
Shoot, man. Like I said, I'm in my mid 40s and we just got a house with a master on the 1st floor.
Game changer.
You know, it's a priority, brother.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I mean, I'm in my 30s and my wife's talking about it, you know?
Right.
So the older the generation is, the more likely it is that priority of getting on one level becomes increasing over time for sure.
But the point to all of this is that, you know, you're right. We're niching down to create a very highly targeted list of motivated homeowners that the competition isn't doing. So
that's right. That's exactly right. And so like we say in every show, it's like, dude, you have a choice. You can go and cold call 100 random people,
right?
Or you can go call 100 people that, you know, the likelihood of them wanting to move or wanting to sell is like 10x, probably 100x.
Oh,
100x.
Yeah.
People don't just wake up one day random out of the blue and say, I guess I'm just going to move today. It doesn't happen that way. Certainly it can happen from time to time, but it really comes down to life events. And I think that's what your team and your company really specializes in, is getting us, the real estate agent community, the contact information for people that are likely to have a life event, so that we can hone in our marketing, our prospecting efforts to get the greatest return.
Dude, you hit it right on the head. I mean, with the data experience that we have and the sourcing that we're able to do, I mean, it's exactly what you're saying is we're taking life events, we're taking actual responses and different demographics that fit that mold of who we know is more likely to sell their property. And like you said, they're not going to wake up and be like, hey, I'm going to go buy a new car today, or we're going to move to Kentucky. You know, it's something that has to be done based off of, like you said, certain life events. And one of them is getting older and wanting to be living more comfortably within your own means. And that's the downsizer. And that's kind of what the focus today is, right?
Yeah, exactly right. And so I guess I'll just leave the audience with this, right? So two things. One, how long does it take your team, if an agent reaches out to you guys today, how long would it take for you guys to find out how many downsizer leads they have in their market?
Oh, on the phone call. So we're able
Awesome.
to have a conversation with the real estate agent on the phone and run these reports. We call it our lead inventory report.
Okay.
So usually, the agents provide us with a handful of zip codes, and then we'll run this report and send it to you with all of the different segmented databases we have, and you can kind of see that across the top.
Awesome.
Once you and I, agree on a list and how you want it, it's within 24 hours that data is in your hands. We run it through some special hygiene and some post processing, and then the data is yours. So it's a really seamless process, and we're building on a second edition online. So we have that absentee lead shop, and I'm going to show that real quick.
Absolutely, let's do it.
Absentee lead shop, and so this is like a phase 2 of what we're trying to create.
Yep.
You can see the databases here: absentee owners, number of records. We have distressed properties, number of records, likely to sell, number of records,
So good.
divorced, number of records. And then we'll have the downsizers on here. So, and the description is down below on each one of those. So divorce properties, when I click that.
So is this live now, or you guys are
working
on
so
this?
We're working on this. This is kind of like Lead Shop 2.0.
Okay.
We'll have this available in the next 60 days. So by the first of the year is kind of where we're trying to build this out. So you can all go online, not just now where you're able to get the absentee, you're able to now go online and get the, distress, likely to sell, divorced, downsizers. We're building that out, but it's pretty cool technology while we're heading there. And it tells you a lot of information by each data set and why.
Man, that is so powerful. I mean, really, it's a game changer for our industry, because I know we've talked about a lot of different things on these episodes, but like, I think that I'm hoping, Jared, that we're opening the minds and the eyes of the real estate agent community to say, listen, you don't just have to rely on your friends and family. You don't just have to rely on for sale by owners and expired listings. There's a whole world of selling. And quite frankly, the vast majority of real estate transactions aren't coming from for sale by owners and expireds. They aren't coming from your friends and family. They're coming from all these people that are going through different life events. And now, working with a company like yours, we now have access via technology to access these people, which is so cool.
Yeah, you know what? It is so cool. And listening to you, man, and I'm gonna pat you on the back, but your motivation and guiding these agents, along that path is so exhilarating for us, man. It's such a cool thing to see. And we have the same concept and the same processes. Like we want our customers to have that return on investment. We want them to have that success, and we're putting them at their fingertips if they put the work in. So it's an amazing thing, my man, and super blessed to be a part of it.
Yeah. And I appreciate that. And, I guess the second thing I'll just leave you guys with today is, once you have this list, you saw, just as an example, right? There's over 30,000 opportunities just in 6 or 7 cities in my market. I mean, imagine a world where, you can pick up the phone, call a prospect, use the scripts in which I teach without having every other realtor banging on the same lead, having great conversations. You're going to say to yourself, oh my gosh, this is so enjoyable. I like to prospect. I love sales. When you're calling a group of people like we're talking about on this show, it's just a completely different way to do business, because most of you, only know about for sale by owners and expired listings. Great opportunity. It's how I built my business as well. But now with technology advances, we can now find different opportunities in the marketplace, where before we just had to, Jared, pick up the phone and cold call, through the phone book,
right?
Or cold call through neighborhoods and hope and pray we came across a downsizer. Now we can make a decision to partner with you and only go after a downsizer. Right? It's just a massive
beautiful
difference.
It is. In my early days, I started in this data world in 1999. We would take our clients through compilation tour of opening up the white pages, the business yellow pages, and that's how the data was compiled. I mean, so much has changed in 20 something years, but it's a cool thing. Yeah.
So we'll link up to all your information like we do on every show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look forward to seeing you next week, and make sure you guys go and follow the share group on Instagram, and I'll link up to their information beneath this video. We'll see you next week.
Much love, man. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Brother. Take care.
Peace.